I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
Big shout out to everybody in Riverside. And as a kid, I always wanted to meet Don King. But now I think Don King's a fucking asshole. He's a racist.
No. We're not going down that road.
None bigger than this. Maybe the biggest upset of this decade.
Dile que ese estilo es un falso, dile, porque él puede dar bien con la pelea.
Welcome everybody to the Mr. Boxing Guru podcast. It is me, Sal, Mr. Boxing Guru. I made a promise to you guys that I'll be doing a podcast more often, but hey, what is it? Promises are meant to be broken. So here we are, the first one of 2023. So let's make sure we get started. Again, this is Martin Luther King Day, so I think it's only fair to try to come on here, throw a little I have a dream moment for you guys. So a lot of weird stuff going on in boxing that I kind of wanted to talk about. We just had a fight. This past weekend. I think Tank versus God knows who from a lighter weight division. And one thing in particular that I guess kind of grasped my attention, and that's that Tank is a legit star. Tank Davis is a legit star because, and I didn't know about it. And I know it sounds fucking weird because, you know, we're all into boxing. We all hear or see of him. But the guy is I don't want to say the good, but he's a fucking star, man. We all heard the chismes, we all heard the gossip, we all heard what was going on, and we heard that Tank, supposedly the fight was supposed to be over in any instance. Any other fighter, it might have been over. Because again, guys, men in general are guilty until proven innocent. And for, if this might sound like some crazy shit that I'm talking about, let me kind of go back. Tank's baby mama called the police a week or week and a half before his fight. And what she said to the cops on 911 call, she said, you know, he's going to kill me. He's trying to kill me and shit like that. Now, right off the bat, when you hear of someone, you know, and or having, you know, domestic disputes, you try to stay out of it, you know, because I mean, that's one, everybody has issues with their with their significant other, or not everybody's relationship is perfect for other people to, you know, put their nose in. But Tank has been notorious for doing this type of shit. You know, he's notorious for you know, for life outside the ring. And I don't like to talk about folks' life outside the ring because that's exactly what it is, life outside the ring. Just like when I don't really care for people that bring up Oscar De La Hoya's fishing and shit. I don't give a fuck. Why? Because it's life outside of boxing. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But in Tank's case, it's come up more often than not. And maybe that's why I mean, I'm a fan of Tank. When I see him fight, okay, I'll watch it. But, you know, as soon as the fight's over, it's out of sight, out of mind. Cool, you know, see you next year whenever they decide to bring you back in. But what I guess never paid attention was the type of fan base what was Floyd and Ellerby. And honestly, Floyd and Ellerby deserve lots of credit for what they've been able to do. And again, the reason why I say I didn't know he was such a big fucking star, because I, like most boxing fans, I want to pay attention to the fights that matter, you know, fights that with substance. We know for the most part, Tank's career has been a highlight reel. He's created excitement. He's but once you know who he fought against and how he's brought up, you're like, okay, that's a great knockout, but versus whom? Versus who? And I get it. You're supposed to develop a fighter, but after a certain amount of fights, you got one fighting 20 times, and he's, guys in his late 20s. You're like, okay, when does the development stop? When do you start bringing guys from lower weights and bringing them to get their ass beat? But again, long story short, let me kind of go back to what happened. So again, he, according to his baby mama, he put hands on her. He was trying to kill her. They put Tank in jail. Again, week and a half before the fight. You think to yourself, this fight's never going to happen. They put somebody in jail. That's it. Fight's over. This type of shit doesn't fly. And especially with PBC and for any promoter, you kind of don't, as a promoter, you don't want to associate yourself with it, even if the guy is innocent. You kind of just want to stop it right now, make sure the guy's 100% mentally and whatnot, and you fight another day. You postpone shit like this. That's not what happened with Tank. He was in jail. I'm not sure if it was 24 hours, 48 hours, something like that. It seemed like a very short period of time, but then he was out. Talking about the mother of his child, talking about shit in the toothbrush and scratches and spit all over him, which is, I guess his claim to saying, it wasn't all what she said. There's more substance to the story. And then it comes out the young lady retracts her statement saying that they both need counseling, blah, blah, blah. And the fight's happening. The reason why I say Tank Davis is a fucking star, and I didn't know about it, is just because it's been one too many times where this kid pretty much does things or gets accused of things and with little or no consequences. His old boss, Floyd Mayweather, was accused of things like that. He did some jail time, and he moved on, but seems for some reason, and it's crazy to me because I know we're here in this country, we're especially black and brown kids, young men are usually, again, they're not innocent. They're guilty until proven innocent, not the other way around. So it surprises me how Tank's been able to get away with this. He has court dates after court dates. He's done hit and runs. There's been like very graphic testimonies for this shit. And again, I don't like to talk about shit like this, but it kind of rubs you the wrong way when, let's say, in the same company. I remember when Victor Ortiz, some girl had said that he had raped her or something like that. It came out that wasn't true, and they stopped the fight. They canceled the fight again, but because of the level of fighter or the ability to for Tank Davis to sell tickets, they cannot afford to have a conscience with him. The show must go on. The tickets are already sold. It was a big event from the pictures that I seen. It was a sold out event. It was one of the highest revenue shows featuring Tank. So this is fucking great, and this is him fighting an unknown, and that's why you kind of sit back and say, you know what? That's why Ellerby and Floyd never really wanted to push the button on Tank, because they wanted to continue cashing him in. Even if he's not fighting versus the toughest guys in the world, he still has the ability to sell a ticket, and that in itself is fucking impressive. And that's when I realized, and I just started thinking about it, like, you know what? I never pay enough attention to Tank to outside of the whole boxing thing. When he's in the ring, again, I watch him, I enjoy him, I enjoy his fights, I enjoy his highlight reels, but I know there's not much substance to whom he's fighting and when he's fighting. So again, it's out of sight, out of mind. But I just started noticing that in order for him to get away with shit like this, I mean, he was actually in jail. It was a week and a half from his actual fight date, and he still fought with no almost consequences, no remorse, nobody stopping him from earning a paycheck. And that's fucking, I mean, in a weird, creepy way, that's fucking impressive. There's no consequences for what the man can do, and he's okay. nothing's wrong. And again, I mentioned Victor Ortiz had some issue like that where he got accused of rape or something like that. As a matter of fact, Tank's previous opponent, Rolly Romero, he got accused of something like that. I guess I don't know if they settled out of court, but they ended up dropping the case. And Rolly was forced to get out of the fight. Again, this really, really surprises me. And again, I know we're not stupid. I know most people aren't stupid. We play stupid. When Tank's baby mama came out and said it wasn't true or not everything was right, we kind of know what happened there. I mean, there had to be some sort of financial compensation to make shit right, quote unquote. So this is weird. It's odd, and again, this is just my take on saying Tank is a fucking star. Only stars get away with shit like this. No other man. Rolly Romero didn't get away with shit like that. Victor Ortiz, when he was fighting, I forgot who he was fighting. I think that big nose kid that ended up being a cop. I can't remember his kid, Mexican kid too. That's the fight that got stopped. Again, credit to Tank for being able to get away with it. I'm not sure it's the most ethical thing, but hey, who am I to fucking talk about ethics here? Hope all this shit is wrong. Hope all that shit isn't true. And I hope if this lady is very toxic, or if she is, scrubbing her ass with fucking toilet paper with toothbrushes and spitting on the dude, I hope he's not quote unquote man enough to hit her, but man enough to fucking walk away. You don't need to be in any type of shit like that. Vete chingar a tu madre, Tank, y mándala chingar a tu madre ella también. Alright, speaking of Tank won this fight. I think the guy quit or something like that. Again, I watched the fight, but again, very minimal. My attention span isn't that great, but what I do know, and again, I know I shit a lot on Ryan Garcia and whatnot, but I know that the fight to make between these two popular kids, it's Ryan King Cry Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis. This is the fight to be made. This is what supposedly the fight that we had to look forward to. This is the reason why King Cry did not take the opponent, did not fight Mercito Gesta when everything was, from what I heard, everything was signed, dated, and delivered. And the fight didn't happen because Tank's people decided that it was not a good idea for Ryan to have a tuna fight. Well, he did. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I mean, Ryan, it's kind of difficult to really believe. He's not a man of many truths. He's a guy he's a pathological liar. We've all known that. We've all seen that from him. He's not a mentally stable kid. So I don't know. This is the fight that a lot of folks want to see. This is a lot of folks feel that Ryan has the ability to do damage. I personally don't think so. But it seems like now even that fight might be in jeopardy, because I saw a tweet that Oscar said something about he hasn't received a contract or anything like that. And that's when almost promoters seem to get in the way of a good time. From my understanding, that fight was dealt with by Ryan's manager, that Lupe guy, that weird fucking bug looking dude. That fight was already, set up. It was, terms were agreed to on principle and whatnot. So all the Golden Boy really was doing is bringing in the promoter, or the outlet, I guess, with the Zone, and that's it. So all the legwork was done by Ryan's folks, and Oscar's tweeting about moving on already because he hasn't received any type of contract to move forward with the fight. Now, I'm not sure what the fuck is going on. Why is Oscar setting deadlines? Because from my understanding, again, there's not much to do with Golden Boy besides Golden Boy bringing the Zone. The fight is done, but this is the type of shit that fucks boxing up. These demands, these weird analogies, these keeping shit or adding giving the public more information that we should know. Sort of like politics. Certain shit we shouldn't know. If there's fucking aliens in this country, we shouldn't know. if there's negotiation for 60-40, whatever fucking splits, we should know as boxing fans. We should know what's signed. We know we've again your hardcore fan might know about fights being signed day of the fight or whatnot, or tweaks being done to contracts. But again, we shouldn't know. We should know that the fight is done. When the fight is done, announce it, and let's move forward and getting, promoting the fights and whatnot. Not before all these cheap negotiation talks fucking sucks. 'Cause look, we just went through this with Spence and Crawford, and nothing came out of it but fucking pissed off angry fans on both sides. This guy calling this guy Ducker, this guy calling that other guy Ducker. With Ryan versus Tank, it seems like, again, goes back to Tank's legal issues. It seems like he has to take care of that first. I would assume, again, Tank's a bigger star than I knew he was, because he's able to avoid jail time and shit like that. So who knows? But it appears they have the some sort of day from March or April or whatnot. Hopefully they fight, but I have a feeling that Oscar, and more importantly, Heyman and friends, will get in the way of these two guys fighting. This is the type of fight that, one, I don't think Ryan's ready for. Two, and not because he's not old enough. He's at the age where he should be taking these type of risks. But I don't think he's fought enough in the last 2-3 years. I don't think he's developed enough. He's developed himself into a household name, absolutely. But as an elite fighter, I don't think he's put in that type of rounds. If Ryan would have kept staying busy fighting is 3 to 4 times a year, I would say, you know what, fuck it, throw him to the wolves, let's do it. I don't think he's ready for it. I think it's going to be the consequences. Tank is a fucking monster. The eye test with Tank, we know that we haven't seen Tank fight the type of good fights, but we know that he has passed the eye test. He's a really good guy. He's really sharp. He's really strong for his size. And I know Ryan is a very chinny guy. Yes, he has a great left hook. Yes, he has a beautiful jab. But I think he can definitely pitch, but I do not think Ryan can catch. As a matter of fact, I know Ryan cannot catch. And once Gervonta touches him, it's going to be over. Remember Luke Campbell touched Ryan and he fucking flopped around like a waterless fish? Now imagine Tank with that type of power. Remember how he put Leo Santa Cruz to sleep and motherfucker was smiling? Now think about what he's going to do to Ryan. And Leo Santa Cruz has a decent chin. Yes, he's much smaller, 126 guy, but at the end of the day, the way Tank put him to sleep was he put him at peace. He was like resting. He was fucking smiling there, talking about the little weird accent that he has. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to watch the fight just for the LOLs. I think that is the biggest fight that you can make in 2023. If you can make it in 2023, if the promoters don't get in the way, but hopefully they don't, and we're able to see this fight, because I'm honestly looking forward to it. This is the type of fight that you just for shits and giggles, you want to throw a carne asada, you want to do something sort of like how you wanted to do with Spence and Crawford. But, for whatever reason that didn't materialize themselves, whether it's the fighters being greedy or whether it's percentages, and again, shit that we shouldn't as boxing fans even know or give a fuck. But we somehow know, and we somehow, because there ain't shit to do, we give a fuck. Let's move on. Hey, Oscar, my dude. Has anybody seen Oscar? This dude, I saw a video, I think it was on Instagram, where he was refusing to take wear his shirt. And I gotta say, that's fucking impressive, man. What Oscar's doing after his I guess you could say retirement, that's good for him. It's weird because of all the shit that you hear about at Golden Boy. But hey, if Oscar doesn't want to wear his shirt, I know where you could put him at. He has a couple of empty desks at his office now. Because I don't know if you guys heard, but Oscar's been cleaning house. Golden Boy Promotions been cleaning house. They've let go of I believe a matchmaker. They let go of a few water boys and flight bookers or whatnot. So it sucks. Honestly, it sucks. 'Cause, look, I think I mentioned it before. I went through a recent job loss. I think it was August, September of this past year, and it fucking sucks because you're left with so much uncertainty, and for someone to lose their job, I would hate. Jokes aside, I would hate. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It fucking sucks, but I think it's things that needed to be done. Golden Boy Promotions, one of those companies that throughout the years, what they've always said is that they work for the fighter. They work for fans. They're not the bosses. They work for these fighters. Somewhere along the line, I would say maybe 3, 4, maybe even 5 years back, that love for making a good fight has been gone. When was the last time? This is how fucked up things are. When was the last time you said, "Fuck, I want to go to a Golden Boy fight"? And it honestly hurts me to say because I think and you guys know me. I think I've been a Golden Boy cheerleader for many years. Not only because I'm a huge fan of Oscar, but because as a company, I like what they were doing. Every now and then they would kind of skin the fat and get rid of fighters that just weren't cutting it, weren't selling tickets, or maybe they put too much energy into it and they didn't get much back. But as of late, they really haven't done that. I remember, and I think it all has to do with their matchmaking. I remember them making some weird fights that on paper they look weird, but then you would go to an event, you would have a fucking great time. You would talk about that knockout you saw on shit, even on a Velasco card. How old is Velasco? Maybe like 5 years? Velasco, or a random fight. Random fight. Danny Garcia versus Eric Morales. On paper, this should look like a shit fight. It looks like they were bringing in, they were working with Heyman and whatnot. They brought in Danny Garcia and they brought the old man and Eric Morales. And they made a fight, and it was a fucking spectacular fight. It was a fight for Eric to lose, but did we fucking enjoy the fight? Absolutely. When was the last good fight card that we saw from Golden Boy? Lately, they've been putting these kids that no one knows about. I have no history on them. I have no idea who they are. And it's just, I'll give you a prime example. I was looking into fights that are coming up, and Golden Boys has an event coming up. I think they're the next one, at least locally or even here in the U.S. that's coming up. You had the Tank fight, then we have, let's see, fight schedule. Let's see, there's January 28th, Arthur Beterbiev, but I saw one from Golden Boy. Same day, January 28th. It's Alex Rocha versus Anthony Young. Does anybody know who Anthony Young is? Floyd Shufield, great kid, versus Alberto Mercado. Is that some of the Miguel Cotto's kids? Oscar Collazo versus Wilfredo Mendez for a title. And there's some other guy versus a TBA. I think that's one of Joel Diaz's kids. And this is in SoFi, and the little arena that they have there. So let me get this shit straight. You got 4 fights scheduled. You're putting it in a place where they're probably going to charge you about $100 to park, plus your ticket for 4 fights, and one of them is not even confirmed. So we're talking about 3 fights that are on ESPN. This is the type of shit that I'm talking about. Again, Alexis Rocha, great kid. Absolutely great kid. He's probably one of the last kids that they've developed where I'm interested. He has a loss to Rashidi Ellis, and that's it. He's been able to bounce back. He's been on fun fights, but there's nothing to the end. There's no unless you're a Alexis Rocha diehard fan, you're going to be at this fight. And that's the thing where Golden Boy will put on fights where you would just go, you didn't give a fuck who was fighting, honestly. You just know that you were going to watch, drink a couple of tecatas and have a good time. Because, in one of those fights, you were going to get entertained. Because that's the type of shit that they would do before. They had an imagination. Their matchmaking was fucking great. And this was talking about 5 years ago. That's not available anymore. That's why I'm kind of glad that Golden Boy, if they really are revamping, that they're doing. That's one good thing about Golden Boy, that they have the ability to reinvent themselves and keep moving forward. I really hope this is what happened. I don't know what happened because I think the matchmaker that they had was fucking brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. What happened 5 years, from 5 years ago on forward? Did they bank enough on Canelo? I don't think so. Because yes, maybe they banked enough on Canelo, but they were still doing good fights on the sideline. When, again, and I'll leave that shit up to you guys. When was the last time you enjoyed a Golden Boy card? I haven't been a Golden Boy card in about 3 years. Yes, we got the pandemic somewhere in between. Yes, I decided to stay home for a lot of them, but I haven't been excited to watch a card. To watch a specific fight that I say, you know what, this is a good fight. I love the developmental fights, but keep the fucking guys busy. I don't want to see guys fighting once a year. Once every 6 months. Bring back those Velasco cards. That's how you fix Golden Boy. And I really hope we really get the type of movement that we had before. With Golden Boy, yes, they might have had... I remember they used to put fights on Ring TV and just keep them moving once, twice a month. They had a card and they kept them moving. But they were developing young talent. They were developing. Right now, I don't see shit. I don't know. I don't even know who's signed or who's not signed. Again, this fight that's coming up. Again, I think, as a matter of fact, I think Joel De La Hoya has one fighter that's not even listed here. But again, I don't know much of that card or who's fighting or what the fuck is going on. I really hope Golden Boys get their shit together. I hope they start growing organically again. Their social media, gets going and make sure we have access to these fighters. We have a personality behind those fighters. I just don't want to only see it on fight night. I think it's a shame that they're not working as I don't want to say hard because it's not fair to some of the employees there, but they're not being as creative. There's a lack of imagination as matchmakers, and I hope they really get their shit together because I'm really fucking rooting for them, and I really, really want them to do fucking great. Let's see what else we got. Jose Ramirez declined a fight versus Regis Prograis, and this happened a few weeks ago. I don't know, man. You see, this is the type of shit that I'm talking about that's wrong with boxing. Again, we get it that the money wasn't there or he's the A side. Again, that it goes back to the same shit I was telling you guys earlier. I don't give a fuck who makes what. Just make the fucking fight. Not who brings a network, who does this, who does that. You get a title fucking opportunity, you go for it. I do not want to hear his fucking manager, Rick Merigian, run his fucking mouth talking about, oh, this guy's ducking us, or him talking about his fighters Teofimo's fighting Arnold Barboza. This guy's fighting this guy. Why don't you fight this guy? Why don't you fight this guy and the other guy? When he created the biggest duck move in the world, he rejected the WBC belt. Isn't this what especially Mexican fighters, but fighters in general, isn't that what they want? Don't they want that green belt that they're always fucking talking about? What the fuck happened here, Rick Merigian, or Merigian, whatever the fuck your Kardashian fucking name is? What happened? When does Jose Ramirez, this fucking guy that all of a sudden moves the needle? He's the guy that's popular, with field workers. He fucking sells tickets because he fights where the fucking county fair is at. It's like saying, oh yeah, there's a guy that fucking sells tickets at Picolandia. It doesn't fucking make sense. Anybody can sell $5 tickets. When he's on ESPN, the numbers he doesn't create any type of fucking buzz. Zero buzz for Jose Ramirez. What the fuck happened? But here we are. He's fighting Richard Kami. What the fuck has Kami done to deserve a fight with Jose Ramirez? I mean, Kami has fought what? Everybody from top rank? Absolutely everybody. I think everybody at 135. It's like that shit we were just talking about with Tank. He's out here fighting guys that are below his weight, and somehow it's fucking okay. Like, why is it okay for Jose Ramirez to do this type of shit? Till somebody gets fucking hurt, we're gonna be okay with this shit. It's not okay to do these type of shits. As far as what's happening next in boxing, look, I think there's that Alexis Rocha fight looks really nice. I don't know who Anthony Young is. I know it's a welterweight fight. I started doing a little research on him. It looks like it's going to be a decent fight. Do you want to get up and go? Sure, why not? If they stack the undercard, I haven't seen anything. I just see these 3 cards made. I know there's 4 fighters or 5 fighters so far. 5 fights scheduled, not on paper, but at least 5 fights scheduled. But that's pretty much it. Is it worth getting up? Is it worth the $100 a parking ticket at SoFi? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. At least on the Zone, I'll watch it. Fuck it, I'm paying for the subscription for a reason. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Bit of a Debbie Downer fucking podcast, but hey, here we are. I gotta do podcasts. I gotta do them more often. I'm paying the subscription. Shit, might as well make it pay for itself. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Mr. Boxing Guru podcast. See you guys later.